Welcome back to the Consumer Decision-Making Lecture Series. In this video, we'll talk about consumer decision-making and involvement. All consumer buying decisions generally fall along a continuum of three broad categories: routine response behavior, limited decision-making, and extensive decision-making. Goods and services in these three categories can best be described in terms of 5 factors. These 5 factors are level of consumer involvement, length of time to make a decision, cost of the good or service, degree of information search, and number of alternatives considered. The level of consumer involvement is perhaps the most significant determinant in classifying buying decisions. Involvement is the amount of time and effort a buyer invests in the search, evaluation, and decision process of consumer behavior. Let's look at each of these 3 types of decision-making. Frequently purchased, low-cost goods and services are generally associated with routine response behavior. These goods and services can be called low-involvement products because consumers spend little time on search and decision-making before making the purchase. Consumers engaged in routine response behavior normally do not experience need recognition until they are exposed to advertising or see the product displayed on a store shelf. Consumers buy first and evaluate later, whereas the reverse is true for extensive decision-making. An example of routine response behavior would be buying the same brand of peanut butter each time you go to the grocery store. You see it, you know you need it, and you buy it. There's not a lot of thought or research that goes into it. The cost is low, and you've bought that brand of peanut butter before, so you're familiar with the product. Limited decision-making typically occurs when a consumer has previous product experience, but is unfamiliar with the current brands available. Limited decision-making is also associated with lower levels of involvement because consumers expend only moderate effort in searching for information or in considering various alternatives. An example of limited decision-making would be buying a new brand of peanut butter. You know what peanut butter is. You've bought it before, but you're trying a new brand that you haven't purchased before. You might spend a few minutes reading the jars and comparing it to other brands, but you're not going to spend hours researching it. Consumers practice extensive decision-making when buying an unfamiliar, expensive product or an infrequently bought item. This process is the most complex type of consumer buying decision and is associated with high involvement on the part of the consumer. People usually experience the most cognitive dissonance when buying high involvement products. An example of extensive decision-making would be buying a refrigerator. These are expensive, infrequent purchases that require a lot of research, time, and consideration. You may spend weeks or months researching different options, visiting Lowe's and Home Depot, and carefully weighing the pros and cons before making a decision. This is a high involvement purchase because it requires a significant investment of time, money, and effort. To summarize, routine response behavior is for low involvement, frequently purchased, low-cost items. Limited decision-making is for moderate involvement purchases where you have some familiarity but are considering new options. And extensive decision-making is for high involvement, expensive, infrequent purchases that require significant research and consideration.